Hi there. Welcome to this episode of This Will Make You Happier. I am delighted to introduce my special guest, Ronda Cobb. Thank you, Ronda, for joining the show today.
Thank you for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Let me tell you a little bit about Ronda. She is a money coach. She's formerly studied math, but she's also experienced life's ups and downs. And now she uses her insight and expertise to help others build financial lives that are predictable, sustainable, and manageable so they can thrive. Ronda refuses to let lack of education about money management burn good people, or worse yet, bankrupt them. She's increased profits for industry leaders for 3 decades. Now she works with individuals and families, as well as lenders and realtors who recognize the benefits of educated customers with good financials. So she helps individuals and families get more financially aware and secure, more organized, and more prepared for a mortgage approval. This all leads to being more financially secure and more ownership. So when you're talking about living a happier life, I can't think of anything more important than financials, money. So Ronda, tell us about your journey. How did you become a money coach?
Well, it's really kind of a simple journey in my mind. After all those years of working in business and industry, I did what people as they get a little bit more mature and experienced do. I became a consultant. And I started adding value to people's businesses. And one of the value-added things I always brought was, well, this would make you more profitable. From there, I started seeing what was happening to particularly small business owners, mom and pop shops and sole proprietors, and how their business money affected their personal money as well. And so I started adding in other services, got my insurance licenses, and everybody said, oh, you're an insurance agent. Not really. There was so much more to it and so much more to my background that I finally just changed my name from financial advisor to money coach, because there's so much more than just insurance to what you do with money. And so I still do insurance work, but I do so much more than that.
So, money is probably one of the most stressful issues out there. I was just reading an article the other day about how money and financial issues is one of the number one factors in couples that get divorced. Why is money such a stressor?
Well, for one thing, people grow up, as you know, in your area of expertise, people develop their basic right from wrong attitudes when they're quite young. And you don't realize it as a parent, but your attitudes toward money are being transferred to your children when they're quite young. So if you don't learn a good money attitude when you're small, you may carry a bad money attitude with you. And it always seems like, couples marry, they're kind of opposites. They fit together like, two pieces in a puzzle or gears. And it's the same way with money. One of them wants to squish the tube of toothpaste from the middle and one wants to squish it from the end. Money is the same way. It's almost always one's a spender, one's not. This always leads to conflict. No, you can't spend that. Yes, you can. No, you can't. Arguments on. Let's take it to the mat and duke each other's out. Instead, what they need to do is get a money coach that I have no emotional investment in that relationship. And I will tell people, I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not a social worker. I don't know anything about that. And I'm very straight spoken. So they know I'm not a social worker because I'm not. I don't speak like that. I'm not real careful with my words. So they need a coach. But that's why money is so stressful. There's usually more month left than there is money, when the reverse is the way it should be. If you're on a good pathway to financial stability and you have a budget and you try to follow it most of the time, then you don't have that stress. But when money is tight and you're constantly bombarded by television, by radio, by cell phone, by these new apps, by going to the store and what's the stuff right by the cash out register, the most expensive stuff, the impulse purchases.
I'm a sucker
You're
for impulse purchases.
Constantly being bombarded by. And that makes it even a bigger stressor. And if you don't, yes. And if you don't get that under control and get a good foundation with your partner or your spouse where you can discuss these things, money can rip you apart. So then you go for counseling. Where do you go? You go to a psychologist. You go to your spiritual advisor. Well, did they learn anything about money? No, they got the same fights going on at their house. And I know they do because I'm a money coach, so I can tell you they do. So here you are, you're in this catch-22. Like, what do? Get a money coach. It's so much easier. It's so much less expensive. It's less expensive than divorce, and there's just no point in it ripping your family apart. There's no point in ripping your business apart, and there's just no point in going bankrupt when you can make one simple thing a choice, and you can do better. And once you've made the choice, now you're on the road to recovery. And it doesn't matter what you want to recover from. The first one starts with the choice.
I love how you put it, because they say that money is a number one factor in divorce, and yet a money coach isn't necessarily the number one person that they go to. So I thought that was great. Let me ask you, what can people do to reduce their stress over money?
Well, the first thing that I'd like to do is, of course, talk to them and find out what their goals are and what their intention is. What's your intention with your money, or what's your goal? Do you actually have a goal? Or are you just flying by the seat of your pants hoping there's enough money left in your account so that your debit card doesn't bounce when you're at the store? And then the second thing I'd like to do is make sure they have a custom budget. Because when you see that in black and white, and it happens time and again, so I will give everyone fair warning, don't feel bad. It happens almost every single time when I'm going through it and I put it on paper or I send it to them in an email on a PDF or whatever, and they look at it and they go, surely I don't spend that much money eating out. Well, yes, you do. You told me you ate lunch out every single day of the week. You leave the office, you go out, you buy lunch, it's $10, it's $12. You can't believe how much that adds up to at the end of the month. It's amazing. And when they see that, they go, I wonder I don't have any money left. And you start to really see where your money's going. And until you do that, it's really, really hard to get a grip on where's the money going and how can I make it go where I direct it to go. And that's where the custom budget comes in, because one column is where's it going now? Mm-hmm. And the next column is where's it gonna go? I'm going to make this choice and I'm going to make that money go where I intend for it to go. Mm-hmm. That way, I'm not paying my mortgage one month and my car payment the next month and then my mortgage the month after that. I'm not constantly in arrears on great, big, important things or your rent. And if you're doing that, no wonder you're under stress. You're constantly stressed of am I going to be evicted? And am I going to have to walk to work?
Okay.
That is an extreme amount of stress for anybody.
So then your step one in reducing money stress is to create a budget so that you have the information to make smart choices, right?
Right, right.
Okay. Wonderful. That's great. I remember that when I first made a budget, being shocked at how much I was spending on things that, I really didn't think about. I'm a coffee addict, so when I realized how much I was paying for Starbucks and Pete's and it's like, oh my God, all right. So knowledge and budget is important. I've heard you talk about the pathway to financial stability. Could you say a little more about that?
That is what I call when I get you started in the program. You make the choice, you start in the program. We have our first little talk, and then we do your budget. And then we line out step by step, what is it that you need in order to meet your goals? And if I'm working with somebody who is a renter and they want to be on the pathway to being a homeowner, their pathway might be slightly different than somebody who is already a homeowner, but they want to be on the pathway to a good, solid retirement. So we we customize the pathway as we can, but it's basically a unique to us step-by-step process that they go through in order to learn and set goals, meet goals, reset for the next new goal, and keep on going. That way, at the end of the program, they're able to walk away and do it on their own. Because I firmly believe that I shouldn't be spoon feeding you forever. Should you be able to contact me forever for big purchase questions? Absolutely. Or for big insurance or big retirement plan questions? Sure. But for day-to-day, small tweaks in the budget, new goal setting, discussing things with your spouse. My goal is to teach you how to do that on your own. I don't need to be there all the time forever. And so that's kind of okay, I could feed you one meal and you'd be full right then. But then what are you going to do tomorrow? But if I teach you how to cook, you'll be able to feed yourself forever.
Absolutely. That's such an important point. So tell me, what's the most important tip that you can give people to enable them to get on track with their finances, their money?
I think the most important thing is something that we've already touched on, and it really goes back to your area of expertise too. And that is you have to make your decision. You've got to put your brain where you say your intention is. People, I'll talk to people. Yes, I really need to get around to getting my money in order. Oh, yes, I know I need to raise my credit score. I'm never going to be able to be a homeowner with a 600 credit score. That's an entirely different statement than, Deb and Rhonda, I've decided I'm going to become a homeowner within 18 months. What can you do to help me get there? That's an entirely different statement. So when people have made that decision, I'm done with this wishy-washy kind of way of managing my money, or I'm done with the stressful way, the painful way of managing my money. I have chosen to do better. I have made the decision. I'm not embarrassed. There's no reason to be embarrassed. About 95% of people would do better if they had a money manager or a money coach.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But even people that make a lot of money have called me. I've got 2 jobs. I make 200 grand a year, and I'm still not saving money. There's a reason for that.
So you're saying this is relevant to people at all levels of income, right? It's not just for people who are in trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And while I live in a market where $200,000 would buy you a very nice home, you live in a market where $200,000 would buy
Might
you a
buy you a
studio
parking
apartment.
space.
Yes. You know, a studio apartment with 400 square feet, no closet.
Yeah,
So
no, not around here. Parking space.
that's pathetic.
It is.
We have room here. You can come visit.
I'm telling you, other parts of the country are looking more and more attractive all the time. I just wanted to
Yes.
jump on what you said earlier about how this touches both of our areas of expertise, and it's so true, because so much of what I do as a life coach, probably the number one thing that I focus on with my clients is helping them uncover those limiting beliefs that are preventing them from living a happier life. And so much, like you said, we get these tapes from our parents and early caregivers that they sneak into our subconscious, and we take them with them into our adult lives. And I know that when I was on your radio show the other week, you shared some funny stories about how both of us carry those parental tapes in our minds. But that's a really good point, is you have to deal with the intention, you have to clear the blocks, and then you need knowledge about how to manage your money effectively, right?
Right, right. And once you've made your decision, you don't even have to clear the block. Just make the decision and, go to the website, hit on get the budget. It is phenomenally inexpensive. And why is that? Because I made it that way on purpose. You want to get started. You don't want to make a $500 investment. You want to make a $50 investment. So it's literally under $50 to get started. And almost everybody can afford that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I did it that way. Because if you're in the situation where your money is mixed up and you have more month left than you do money, it can't be expensive to get started corralling it. It can't be a $300 set of DVDs that you're going to buy from some big name person. Are they wrong? No. And for most things, I would agree with most of what they say. But who's got $300 laying around?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in financial difficulties and you're not making ends meet, $300 is a lot of money. And you're going to keep putting it off and keep putting it off. Whereas under $50, chump change. You can pack your lunch for a week and be able to afford that.
Right, or skip your coffee for 2 weeks. Or depending on what kind of coffee, 1 week,
for
right?
me, it's 1 week.
Yeah, I was just going to say, especially now that summer's coming and you want to get the really fun drinks. All right, I have another question for you. Most of my clients are women. And I don't know if that's the same for you, but I wanted to ask, why are a lot of financial advertisements aimed at women?
Oh, that's such a good one. And you're going to be surprised at the psychology behind that. That I watch TV and it really starts to get under my fingernails like a little sliver. The reason is women make about 80% of the decisions. They manage the home checkbook in about 75 to 80% of the situations. So these ads are geared towards women because we're the ones making the decisions. But we're also the ones that have more responsibility. We're the ones taking care of both our parents and his parents. We're the ones taking care of the college-age kids while we're taking care of our parents and his parents. And we're the ones that live 7 to 15 years longer. And yet we make 25% less money. So any company worth 2 cents knows they need to advertise with a gear towards women. Otherwise, they're missing the majority of their client base. The very people that need it the most are the very people that have the least amount of time to put into it.
Listening to you answer that's like, oh my God, like, are you here and watching my life? And it's just so true, this multi-generation aspect to the caregiving and responsibility.
Do you feel like you're juggling?
I feel like the balls are more like falling on the ground more often than not, right?
They're not hitting the ground, dear. They're hitting your head.
Yes. Yes.
If you're like most of us, it's like ka-ping, ka-bang, boom. And mine aren't as bad as everybody else's, only because, you know, I don't have two sets of parents.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I only have one parent remaining. And I'm not the oldest child. So my brother and sister-in-law, they get a lot of the balls in the head.
Mm-hmm.
But for people that are the oldest child, or for whatever reason, the doer child, then they're just inundated.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with some people like that from another city, and they called and they said, look, you know, our insurance agent told us to call you. And it was somebody I knew. And I said, okay, I know who you mean. He's a great guy. What can I do to help you? And they said, look, both of our parents ended up going into assisted living within 6 weeks of each other. We're at wits end. The people in assisted living are telling us we have to do this and that and the other thing, and we're fighting with each other for a very unbelievably low amount of money. We got it all straightened out, and I was able to make 3 phone calls, check and double check the veracity of what they were being told, which was a great big fat lie. Let's not split any hairs there. The people at the assisted living place wanted them to liquidate investments that they were not allowed to require them to liquidate, because they wanted the money on the upfront side. And I was able to alleviate a lot of their concerns, stopped all of the brother and sister infighting and the sister-in-law, and they paid their bill immediately, and they left a great referral. It all turned out beautiful, and everybody won. And then mom and dad got the care they needed, and the only people that didn't win was the assisted living people. Didn't get all the liquidated investments that they thought that they should get, which was not theirs. They weren't entitled to it. So it all turned out good.
So that kind of leads into my next question. What is the difference between what a money coach does and a traditional financial advisor?
Well, a traditional financial advisor, I have to tell you, because I asked my friend, I called him and I said, you know, do you really want me to work with them? And obviously I'm not going to step on your toes and writing the insurance with these people. If I discover a need, I'm going to kick it back to you. But it's a little bit different. Most financial advisors would hesitate to go where I went because of liability. I carry a lot of liability insurance. Plus, I've got that 35 years of profit and loss business experience behind me. And a lot of financial advisors don't. They came up through the insurance world ranks, and they know insurance backwards and forwards, and they know mutual funds backwards and forwards. I'm not a registered rep. I don't do mutual funds. So I don't have those requirements to maintain. So I can go a little bit outside of what they can do. So a money coach is a little bit different. And I spend a lot of time educating people. I have a subscription service called 1 Minute Money, $20 a month. I have a book, The Money Bunny for Youth. It's like the workbook for the pathway to financial stability, except it's really zen. It's a coloring book. It's totally great. It's awesome.
Is it only for kids or is it for grown-ups?
Oh, almost everybody that buys it is a grown-up. I thought it would be only for kids so that they could get their money attitude right before they got too old.
I love that idea.
As it turns out, most of the people that buy it are adults. So you never know. But it still comes with crayons because it's Zen. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun and people love it. It's very informative. But it is just a little bit different than a typical financial advisor. And I just can't do it and I won't do it. And I won't tell you that every advisor does it because that would be a lie too. But I don't churn money. I don't move your money from one account to another in order to make my living.
So you're actually a
Can't do
real
it.
coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, this is great. And I think you already answered my next question. What is a money coach and how would having one make your life better or happier? But do you have anything to add about why
Yeah, I
it's
have a little slogan on my website, and it's on the new app as well. It says, be informed, be money smart, and be coached. And there are so many things that relate to money, and it's so easy to get taken advantage of. So having a money coach in your back pocket, that's why you should download the app. That's why you should get the 1 Minute Money for $20 a month. Because then you just send me an email or you send me a text and you go, hey, I'm looking at this new car and they're telling me this. And I will say, no, you don't want to finance it there. What are they doing to you? They saw you coming. Go to your bank first. Get your financing straightened out.
wow.
There are so many ins and outs with money, and it's so easy to get taken advantage of. And then I'm still, as we talked before we went on tape, a dinosaur. I'm still enough of a dinosaur that I can honestly say I earned every little line. And I will honestly tell people, I don't know, but I'll find out. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to give you some baloney. I'll just say, no, let me call you back. I got to do a little research.
I
Had
have
one
to
of those
interrupt.
yesterday.
You are not a dinosaur. You are a role model. And I mean,
Yay!
look at you. Look what you're doing. You're helping people take control of their money so that they can have financial freedom and security. And that's radical. You're a rebel.
There is that. The banks, some of the bankers don't like me so much, but I'm like, really? I'm not making $36 on every bounce check.
Yeah.
I'm trying to prevent that.
Let me ask you this. Sorry. I know that you have a couple of gifts for listeners today. Do you want to tell us a little bit about them? And there will be a link in the show notes below for those of you who are interested.
All right, for our listeners who are individuals and families, we have 10 tips that will immediately make you feel better. Some of them are money related, some of them are life related. So they're kind of a joint offering. And for our small business owners, and that's everything, I think of a small business, everything up to about a $5 million a year business. So small business owners,
That's
everything
some small
from
business.
well, you know what? The Small Business Administration will go all the way up to 5. But anything from 0 to 5, new business to 5 million. We've got 12 tips to make the next 12 months the greatest ever. And when you see the work pages, you will look at it and go, Miss Ronda, you are out of your mind. What have you done? And let me tell you, last December, as I was putting it together, I'm like, okay, kid, put your money where your mouth is. And I went through it. And my first quarter in 2018 almost equaled my entire 2017.
Wow. From following
Yeah,
your own
babe.
advice.
Yeah, babe. So
Love it.
let me tell you, put your money where your mouth is and see how good things can be. And put your money straight. And you'll feel, well, like $1 million, but you don't need $1 million to feel like $1 million. You need to just know, I wrestled this alligator, and now I'm going to wear it for shoes.
I love it.
And I'm going to get the matching purse, too, because what are shoes without the matching purse?
Of course. So go get your money tips, whether you're a small business or an individual, because clearly getting a handle on your money will make you happier.
It
Rhonda,
will.
thank you so much for being on the show and for sharing this great advice to everyone.
thank you so much. And when you were on my radio show, thank you, because as we were doing the show, I had that breakthrough. And so everybody, keep listening to Miss Deb, because you'll get a breakthrough, and then you'll go out and you'll do what you need to do to make your life better too.
Thanks, Rhonda. And thank you all listeners. Until next time, have a happy and wonderful day.